The Athletic is ranking all of the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, no surprise, taking the #1 overall spot. One offensive coach explained, saying, quote, Tom Brady has had the more decorated career with 10 Super Bowls, 7 rings, but I'll say this, Aaron Rodgers has helped elevate every player on that offense. Brady with N'Keal Harry did not elevate his game. Aaron has had Devontae Adams, but he is still waiting for a first-round receiver. They have not had great receivers overall, and he's still putting up major numbers. A little Rodgers versus Brady? All right, Shannon, jump in. How much truth is there to what this offensive coordinator said?
There's a little truth even in the lie. Skip, I think there's a little truth to this. I think the thing is that if we give credit for Tom Brady for elevating guys like Julian Edelman, guys like Danny Amendola, guys like Wes Welker, we have to give him some of the blame for not elevating a Tyquan Underwood, not elevating a N'Keal Harry, not elevating a Chad Jackson. I think because we sing when things go well, these receivers, we give Brady, Brady, Brady. But when they don't pan out, we talk about what was Belichick thinking when he drafted those guys. But I think the thing that really separates these two, Skip, is the intangible. It is leadership. And I think what's tougher for Tom Brady, and I was very fortunate that I had a Hall of Fame quarterback that he didn't break my confidence. When I made a mistake, he would talk to me in such a manner, he was almost like he was a big brother, like, I really want you to do this. This is what I need you to do. And so he was never yelling and screaming and cursing, God, let's go, get your head out. It was never that. So he never broke my confidence. And I wanted so much to please him because I knew he was counting on me. And so it made me study even harder to make sure that I didn't let him down. And I think sometimes with Tom is so intense. Tom is like, get it effing right the first time.
No, there's psycho Tom going on.
Yes,
there is.
And I think that, and I think that's a blessing and a curse because you can't coach and you can't lead everybody the same way. You have to find out what type of player, what type of person he is. And sometimes you got to put your arm around him. Sometimes you give him a kick in the butt. Sometimes you be a little facetious with him. Hey, my wife could have caught that one. You know what I'm saying, Skip? You make it, oh, okay. Oh, you got jokes today. You make it in such a way like, okay, I'm disappointed you dropped the ball. Hey, I know you're going to catch the next one. And so, but I think both guys have done a great job of elevating the players around him. For the most part, guys that they do go to Rodgers, it doesn't matter who they are. And like I said, he's never had a first-round draft pick. But I think the guys, he's had some pretty good guys. I mean, I think the guys that Tom has had, we just look at a guy, well, he was a 7th-round draft pick. He's not any good. Yeah, but you don't understand what's inside the guy. Or he's an undrafted free agent. Yeah, but sometimes it's more than the draft slot. And I think sometimes guys get so caught up into that, Skip, kind of like their Madden rating. You really know that's really not you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think there's a little truth, but I just think that thing that Tom has, that leadership, the likability, even though he's probably a tough you-know-what to play for.
Yeah.
I think, me personally, I probably would like playing with Tom better because he's going to be less likely to, yeah, he's going to chew me out, and that would bother me, especially with the cursing aspect, but I think I could go to Tom and talk to him and say, bro, I don't learn that way. And I think he and I could have a relationship based on how I approach him.
I do too.
But
he would see the potential in you and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure this one out.
Skip, there's no denying Rodgers' talent. There's no denying his ability to throw the football is second to none. He doesn't take a backseat to anybody. Even the young guns that's coming up, the Burrows, the Herberts, the Mahomes, the Josh Allen, when it comes to just spinning the football, he doesn't take a backseat to anybody. But there's something. There has to be something. Now, Belichick is a big part because I don't think anybody's going to confuse Mike McCarthy and Bill Belichick. I think once you got your hands on Mike McCarthy, you see what Aaron Rodgers was up against in Green Bay for all those years.
I do.
So you might say, well, Tom, even if you want to give Tom 70% of the credit, I don't think you giving Mike McCarthy 30% of the credit in Green Bay.
No.
So for me, Skip, there's a little truth, but I'm not willing to go as far as the anonymous scout or coach or exec or whomever it was that did this to make it seem like, oh, Brady ain't never done anything with anybody and he deserves some of the blame. But let's not get carried away. Sometimes I just think we just go overboard trying to make a point.
Okay. I hear you. And now it's my turn. We opened the show speaking about outrage over the homework clause in Kyler's contract. That's outrage at the highest level for me.
Right.
But when I read this quote last night, just sheerly in a football context,
Right.
I was also outraged to the point I screamed at this quote because it's just so off. It's just so wrong that I almost wish this offensive coach who spoke it could be outed today because he should be fired. I have used anonymous quotes in my journalistic career.
Yeah, you have to.
Probably continue to.
You have to.
Because they can be scathingly enlightening when said speaker of quote doesn't have to stand behind it with his name.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
I have known hundreds of assistants in your game over the years, and they are always the best at anonymous quotes because they're the ones who see it behind the scenes, and they can put it into some perspective for you that the head coach really can't see and feel.
Right.
So I have known, seriously, hundreds of assistants going back to the early 70s in the National Football League.
And like you said, they get to hide behind the cloud of anonymity.
They do. But I will also tell you, and you might be able to vouch for this, I met so many assistants, I got close to so many assistants that occasionally I would sit back and say, how did he get this job? Because he really doesn't know much about football. I feel like I know more football than this guy does.
Of course.
It's the good old boy network.
Correct.
It's whom you know. Are you friends with the head coach? Does he like to have you around? Is he a yes man? Is he just comfortable having a beer and nachos with you on Friday night? Is that why you're on this staff? Maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe it's this guy. I don't know who it is. And Mike Sando has high credibility to me. So I believe the quote is the quote.
Yeah.
And I believe this guy should be fired for this quote. That's what I believe. Because let me launch. Let's start with N'Keal Harry. Are we really going to lay N'Keal Harry at Brady's doorstep? Because Brady was with N'Keal Harry only through his rookie year,
8 games
during
ago.
which N'Keal started 5 games that year and played 7 total. So he played in 7 games because he had an ankle injury that hampered him from training camp on. So I'm not even sure Tom got to throw with him that much because he was never available.
Right.
And that's the one thing, if you can't go, Tom's like, okay, if you can't, then you're out.
Can't make the club in the tub.
Can't make it in the tub. I got it. Okay. Now let's look at Tom Brady did have Randy Moss. He had him for a grand total of 36 games. That was over 3 years because Tom missed the whole second year after 2007. He missed 2008, and then there was 9 and a little bit of 10. It totaled up 36 games. Aaron Rodgers has had Davante Adams for 108 games. Obviously, that just ended, but they played 108 games together versus 36 of Moss and Brady.
Right.
Well, okay, Davante was a second-round pick, so he wasn't a first. But for the 8 years that they were together, I'm going to say over the last 4 years, I think we all concur, this is the best receiver in football, right?
Yeah.
So Aaron had him. You got to give credit where it's due. Aaron did have Davante for 8 years, 108 games.
But see, that's the thing, though, Skip. People get so caught up, oh, he's a first rounder. I can make a case that if you look at receiver for receiver, that Aaron Rodgers has had the better receivers. Because you look at Davante, you look at Jordy Nelson, you look at a Greg Jennings, you look at a Donald Driver, Randall Cobb. Okay, they weren't first-round draft picks, but those guys made the Pro Bowl. Those guys were getting 13, 14, 1,500 yards. So this notion is that we got to stop, well, he wasn't the first round.